Unavailable.
Hi everybody, it's Sam. It has been a very, very long time since I've done a video. Today is, I think, the 12th of August.
Someone and SP clock 2:57 p.m. Tuesday, 8:13.
Oh, the 13th.
My movie.
The 13th of August. And the last video I did was the 23rd of June. So it's been a while. So I'll let you know how things have been going. Where to start? I'm still on zyprexa. And that has helped with the voices. They're actually very, very quiet. So in that regard, I have a pretty quiet head, which is good. So that's going well. I hated Trilogy. I went a couple times, and I think I did make a video about this where I said that it was just ridiculous. It was dirty. The place was dirty. It smelled disgusting. The air itself smelled dusty and gross. And we were in this terrible conference room with this hard chairs, and this whatever her name wasn't very good. She just basically said she didn't know how to help with my issues. She needed to do research, and it just wasn't very good. So I left, and I was thinking of going to either this place called Women Care Counseling in Evanston that works with trauma, or this place called the Institute for Therapy Through the Arts, also in Evanston, to do creative arts therapy, although I'm not sure what type of arts therapy would be best for me, but I guess they help you figure that out, and then you can do art therapy, music therapy, movement, drama, that sort of stuff. So I was thinking of doing that, but that would have been like an hour each way. And then there was a place called Cathedral Counseling, and they, I guess, work with trauma as well. But again, that would be, I'm not sure where that is. But the biggest thing about outside therapy that I really didn't like was that my parents would have to help pay for it, because it's $20. It would be $20. I'd make sure it was only $20 a meeting, because I couldn't imagine them paying any more. And then so that would be $80 a month plus the $650 each ride trip, each trip to go out there. So then that would be about $106 all added up, I believe. So I was like, I don't really want to do that. But I hadn't put in my name to see the therapy interns that came in July, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to probably get in. And so, and I was like, I'm not upset about it, because I was undecided and I thought I was going to be at Trilogy, but I just couldn't take it. But it turns out that she has room, and so they got their Lakeisha did get the referral in, and so it's in, and I met the woman. Her name is Lauren, and she seemed very nice when we talked just for a few minutes about scheduling. So the therapy session will be Friday at 3 p.m. So that'll be the therapy session, Friday at 3. So that's that. I'm really happy that my parents don't have to pay, and I'm gonna really try to stick with her, and hopefully, if nothing else, it'll be a place where I can sift, I can talk about what's going on, and just really have some sort of positive connection with a staff member here, even though they're not really on staff, but with someone here, and hopefully just really have some sort of a connection, and feel good about talking to someone here, which for it's hard to feel that way when staff is doing what they're doing, and the whole blank slate mentality. But for the past month or so, the biggest problem was my rent. I have paid online bill pay for the 7 years that I've been in Chicago, 6 years, whatever. And it's been fine. I paid it at Friedman, I paid it at Albany Care, I paid it at Clayton for all these months. All of a sudden, the woman that handles the bill payment called me in July and was like, hey, just so you know, we didn't receive May or June's rent. I'm like, seriously? You didn't tell me this in May? So, no, she hadn't. And so I was like, okay, what's going on? And for basically, long story short, trying to do the online bill pay, didn't get the checks. The checks never arrived here. I have no idea where they ended up. But, you would hit the thing to have it send the check, and we waited and waited, and it would not, it would never get here. So my mom and I worked together because my mom's like, this is too much. Like, I tried to figure it out for a few weeks, and I tried, and, the woman was getting impatient. It's like, well, you should have told me this in May. She's like, well, I didn't think anything of it because your payments always come in. And it's like, well, that's even more reason to tell me when it doesn't come in. So, I finally got my mom on board. My mom's like major advocating person. So she, she called the bank. We called the bank. We decided to have me write checks every month, actual paper checks, and just hand them to the woman. And that would be the best thing to do because this bill pay, for some odd reason, is not working right now in getting these checks sent out. And I don't know why. So we're doing that. So that's a change that I'm gonna have to. I just hope my signature is like valid. The check went through this time, which was really a breath of fresh air. I finally sigh of relief. So that basically I had to pay for. I did May, June, and August in one big check, and gave them their money. Believe me, I wasn't happy about it. I hate how much money they're getting and how, they're not even doing half the services that I need, and I pay so much money for them to be sitting here and not doing hardly anything. I guess Keisha cares in her own way. Like, she puts, she does the referral and she does listen to me talk, but it's just not how, I'm still, not wanting to trust them after what happened with the whole me reaching out around hearing voices thing. And I wonder what Lauren's gonna think of my whole experience, which is sort of intersection of mental illness and spirituality, and sort of that whole journey. So yeah, that was my past month, was dealing with this rent crisis, and then unsure about therapy. And like I said, I'm really happy that I got in to see Lauren, and that I'll be able to work with her, and I'll try my best to stick with it and not leave and everything else like that. So the other topic is kind of I don't know how many people will like really understand, but so as I said in the beginning, the voices are quiet. Another way of saying that is that the ghosts, I haven't really interacted with many ghosts recently. They just haven't been around. And those are two sides of, not the same coin, but two ways of looking at it. You could see it in the mental health perspective as, me hearing voices, feeling things, that others aren't feeling, and so that would be considered. But it's funny because it's not even, Cleary says it's not even really psychosis because I don't match the age requirement. But anyways, so that's one way of looking at it, and the other way is that I'm tapping into spirits that are around, and that I can sense that stuff. So anyways, there are the ghosts that I've talked a lot about. But then there are these things called guides. And guides are higher beings. They're basically a person's soul that has done all of their lives, all of their lessons, and has completely healed. And they have chosen to guide a human being and be around them and sort of teach and protect and be with them through their life. And I guess every person has a guide, one or more than one. Usually it's one, and maybe some others help with different things, but usually it's like one main guide. And they know your whole life path They don't tell you your whole life path, obviously, because you need to learn as you go along. But they know what's going on, and they're there to look out for you and connect with you. And having dealt with ghosts and like the heavier energy of ghosts all this time, and then having a guide come in has been amazing. Like, you can tell, like, it is just so, it's like imagine the most like lovable, huggable person ever, like being around you and listening to you and, you know, just there for you. Like, that's what it's like to have a guide around. It's like so loving and awesome and just like amazing, you know? And that's the difference between, you know, heavier emotions and then the energy of love and light. So while I'm not hearing the ghosts and feeling the ghosts around, that also often means that I'm not able to hear or sense my guides around. And back when I was really, you know, on the path of I'm an empath, I'm trying to embrace my psychic abilities, things like that. When I was on that path, I got in touch with a guide came into my life that is there to teach me about psychic stuff and to also just be there for me as a, you know, as a safe person, safe being. Because I'm still, as I think I've said, I'm not a by nature spiritual person. I didn't have a religion growing up. I didn't have really a sense of God that I felt comfortable with. I'm still sort of looking at that, sometimes not really. But I do have an amazing sense of belief in a guide, in guides and their abilities to assist people on Earth. So anyways, yeah, that guide is amazing. And so we would talk, and I could be upset or whatever, and she'd just be there for me. And, you know, it was just like an everyday thing. She would always be around, and I could talk to her, and it was just great. But she often wasn't around when the ghosts were around. And I don't really quite know why that is. I'm thinking maybe it's because all this stuff with ghosts is like one of my lessons. So like, the people the shamans that I'm working with talk about how every person's soul has lessons they need to learn on Earth. And so one of mine is about taking back my power, and because I had a lot of past life abuse and things like that. And so it's really important for me to learn how to stand up for myself and things like that. So I'm thinking that maybe that's why she wasn't around. But her not being around made it really hard for me when the ghosts were around. And it seemed like, you know, no matter what my human friends were saying about, you know, don't believe what they're saying, it's just terrible, it's just them trying to scare you so that you'll, you know, give them your energy because you're so scared, and then they, you know, they get on you about that and everything else. Like, I just couldn't believe it, and I was like, this is unhealthy, this is terrible, and I'm just gonna take my medication, and I don't care about anything else. So, I did that. But so now, like I said, it's hard for me to decide. You know, do I want to stay on this medication and not have the ghosts bothering me, but also not be able to be in touch with my guides? Do I want to do that, or do I want to go off the medication and handle the voices, the ghosts, you know, by myself with my own inner resources and you know, outside support from my friends and hopefully from, you know, therapists? What do I want to do? You know, and I don't know, because I love the quiet in a lot of ways. You know, obviously not having someone saying, oh, you're terrible, like you should go kill people, you know, like whatever. Having that not in my head is like a huge relief. But at the same time, not being able to access my guides or access just my sensing abilities and the amazing aspects of those abilities, not being able to access that is really lonely and sad, and just hard. It's hard. And for a while I tried to be happy, and I tried to convince myself I was happy. And now I know that I'm not completely happy. I'm really conflicted about what is the best thing for me, because the whole big issue of why I went from going down, and I looked over my messages with my friend, because we chat on Messenger all the time, and I was looking, and it's all the way up through from like October or September through January. I was really on a good path, but then I stopped and I went the complete other direction because I got scared, and I felt like maybe the mental health community has something to offer on what I'm experiencing that could help me, whether it's the pill or whether it's going to groups where people talk about voices, whether it's just general support. And that's what I thought. I thought they would be able to say, okay, even though they couldn't understand the dissociation and things like that, I thought that they'd be able to understand the hearing voices, because probably as much as a lot of people hear voices. Like, it's so common around here that I figured, they can't not say they don't know what's going on. But of course they did. Like, they were just like, well, your symptoms don't go together. And Cleary was like, well, you don't hit the criteria for psychosis because it happened, a year after the age gap or whatever. And so, of course, they did the complete opposite of what I thought they would do. And it turns into this big mess because now, I'm on this pill, and I was on the pill, but I wasn't getting the support that I needed. They were just like, well, what do you want us to do? And I'm like, what do you mean, what do I want us to do? You need to be giving me pointers. I don't know about that. And so why are you asking me what do I want you to do? I want you to do your job. So it was just all about validation. I just want to be validated by these people that I'm giving all this money to for help. But I didn't realize that I could rely on myself, and I some part of me, I wish that I had kept on the path that I was on, because I was doing really well, like, compared to this months of being on the antipsychotics and trying to convince myself I'm okay, that I'm happy with what's going on, and but I'm not, but I'm afraid, to go off the pill, and will I be able to, stand up to whatever spirits come around. And they might not come around, they might. I mean, because my friend and I were talking about this, it's like, she's like, well, they're going to throw everything at you in order to try to scare you. And I'm like, okay, but then I'm like, well, maybe they won't. Like, I don't know. Like, I was, even on the zyprexa, most days I was still sensing stuff around. For the past couple weeks, I haven't sensed anything around. And I don't know if it's just because they're not there, or what. I mean, we've done a lot of energy work. I've done a lot of energy work with them and with my guides, several guides, like the one that's mainly mine, and then there's other ones that come in and help. So as I, get more in tune with higher, vibration energy, that does change the energy in the actual space that I'm in. So it could be that you're just not around. So yeah, I don't know. It's such a tough call because I don't have, like, this is why I wanted a therapist, is to sort of, try to figure out what is going on and what is most comfortable for me. But I don't know, I don't know. So that's where I'm at around this spirituality and medication stuff, So yeah, I guess I think the most recent thing that I've done is just admitting that I'm not happy. I'm not completely happy with what's going on, but I don't know what the best course of action is. So that's about it. I went on and on, but I haven't done a vlog in forever, so yeah, I'll talk to everybody later. Bye.
Icon 2 of 5. My movie, My movie move. Ribbon tag. Stop button.